Right, so we just spent our week at Butlins. We've had 5 days and 4 nights.
5 days and 4 nights.
And we've been staying in the Comfort Plus accommodation in Plantation Key. And we just thought we'd share some kind of tips and things that we've picked up and things we've discovered this holiday, as well as things we've known before as well. So first of all, price guarantee. Butlins do a price guarantee, so it's worth checking on the price of your holiday before you arrive. I think we got very lucky with ours.
Definitely.
Because about a week before I checked the price for a like-for-like accommodation, same date, same duration, and our holiday was half the price. So I sent a cheeky email to the price guarantee email address. Don't bother phoning. They will tell you to email the email address that they've got there. They got back to us within about 5 hours on a Sunday, and they gave us a refund for £285, which was very nice.
There is something in the small print that says as long as when you booked it was under the price guarantee, so there might be some particular time you booked that doesn't count, but we didn't know, so it's worth a try.
Worth checking. Emma will chip in with all the terms and conditions and things, because I will maybe not dress up in the way it should be. Then with shows, the queues, if you're not used to Butlins and the system, the queues start probably around an hour before, maybe earlier for popular shows. So do factor that in when you're booking shows. We had quite a few 5 o'clock shows this holiday, which is a bit annoying because that does mean you have to start queuing for about 4 o'clock. So it does affect tea time. So you might have to factor in some tea afterwards. And there are multiple queues as well. So there's usually a VIP queue and a standard queue.
For booked.
For booked, yes. You can turn up and try your luck if you haven't booked, but it's not a guaranteed entry. Studio 36 has 3 queues. It's got the VIP queue, which kind of runs parallel to the fencing alongside Studio 36. Then you've got the other queue, and then you've got the unbooked queue as well, for anyone who wants to try their luck. And
with VIP, the doors open for you 45 minutes before the show. So if you're VIP, make sure you're there at least an hour before the show, because but I've heard at busier times people are getting there an hour and a half before the show if you want a really good seat, because some people very much want their front seats.
They do.
But we just like VIP because then we don't have to queue as long, because like some people say, oh well, it's quite a while waiting around before the show. But if we take sort of crafts and things for Emily to do and colouring in and stuff, then she doesn't really mind getting in there 45 minutes before the show, because at least then you're sitting down rather than standing in a queue.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you've got younger ones, then it does pay to get in there a little bit earlier, less queuing time. And you do get the choice of the seats as well. So if you've got a little one, then you can get near the front, which is good. And you get a quieter bar as well, so that's always helpful. It is something to factor in. We bought it last minute, so it's worth noting as well. Everything I saw online said you had to book VIP well in advance of your booking, because normally you can select at the time of booking and you can add it on at a later point. We got VIP on the day of our arrival, so we went to the holiday booking office. You can do it at the reception as well, though it was quite chaotic in there. And they just add it on if it's available. It does. They do have limited numbers, so they say.
Yeah.
It isn't cheap. It was an extra £100 onto the price of a holiday, but considering we got the refund, I was quite happy to add it on. I had initially refused, so we did have to book our shows with everyone else, whereas with VIP, if you do book in advance, you do get to book your shows 3 days before everyone else. So you do get. I think
it's 31 days before with VIP and 28 days before if you're non-VIP.
Okay.
So it is handy, and I think they sort of worried that we hadn't booked our shows, but that wasn't the reason we wanted it. For us, the main benefit of VIP is getting into the venue earlier and knowing we don't have to queue quite as long. Because I know on some holiday breaks, people are almost 2 hours before the show starts are queuing, so we don't really.
Yeah, and we had to come on a rainy week, and some of the shows are in Studio 36, and there's no cover out there at all. So you have to factor that in. You can select a lucky volunteer to queue for you in your family party. I had initially sacrificed myself as tribute for that if we didn't have VIP, but it worked out quite well in the end. So on the subject of queuing, there's lots of photo opportunities as well. So particularly for the little one, Emily's 5, so she loves the character meetups. They do run them throughout the week. We did think the timings were a bit random. They didn't really coincide with shows very well, particularly shows geared towards children. But we did get quite a few photos in there. The queues for those start, we thought there were going to be some really popular ones, so I started queuing about 15 minutes before, but I was near the front, so I think we got front of the queue for most of the photos.
I think if you're talking of characters, something like Peppa Pig or sort of not just Butlins characters, but other characters, they can be quite a queue. So I think it was like half an hour before people, at least half an hour before people were queuing for things like Peppa Pig.
Yeah, absolutely. They queue up alongside the kind of candy shop just before the Showtime Studios green screen area, so you kind of run parallel to that shop. Occasionally the puppet theatre does clash, so they do sometimes have the queue running the other way along the kind of dance floor, so just be prepared to look out for the queue and where it happens to be. And the Skyline Gang, they have their photo on the stage, so you kind of start your queuing at the edge of the dance floor on the Showtime Studio side. So again, getting there quick. I started queuing about 15 minutes before, and I was about 5 or 6 from the front. So it worked out quite well.
But we did find some of the character meets were really late for children, which seemed a bit strange. Because obviously, I know some people do stay up very late on Butlins holidays, but it doesn't always work out for us because no matter what time Emily goes to bed, she'll still wake up early.
Yeah.
So there was one character meet that was 8:30, so that one was quite late. So for that one, we wanted to queue early just because. Not because it was particularly a popular one, but we just wanted to have the photo and then get off to get her to go to bed.
Yeah. And on the subject of the kind of photo shoots, they have started advertising it more now, which is nice. But it used to be the case you'd have a photo, you'd get a card. I've left my card over there, but you get a little card with a QR code which you can scan. And supposedly you can then go to the opposite side of the Skyline, kind of opposite centre stage, and they have a studio there that you can buy your photos, magnets, things like that. Used to be the case you get the digital print, a magnet and a photo print or something like that for kind of 15 quid. They didn't really advertise the fact that you could get the digital prints for a lot cheaper. They have advertised that now, so all of your digital prints, however many you can get for 20 quid. So we had 16 photos in total, because they do have different backgrounds for some of them as well, particularly at Halloween. So 20 quid, and you basically scan your QR code on your first photo, set up an account. If you keep scanning the QR code on the same phone, get the same account going, then they all get added automatically. And then when you select more than 4 or 5 photos to buy, it just defaults to 20 quid, so you can then buy as many as you want. So supposedly, the price of our photos was £128, so we had a £108 saving or something like that. So,
But it is handy to know, because we did speak to somebody in one of the queues, and she had been, in previous years, she'd been just paying £15 at a time for a digital print. I think it was a magnet and a print in a wallet or something.
Yeah. So it is worth noting, you do get the digital print for life. So you just download them. You have 45 days to download them, and just go through somewhere like Snapfish or something to do your own magnets. It's a lot cheaper. And it works out quite well. And Emily loves her magnets on the fridge and likes organising them. So she's got...
Yeah, looking at all little character meets
on many more to add now, including the Skyline Gang, our first photo of them, which is cool. And we've had Billy in a different outfit as well, which is nice. So Halloween special. Just a few other bits and bobs then that we picked up. We did arrive a little bit later this time. We normally aim to get here... we were arriving on a big week, just after a big weekend, so you can't get until 1 anyway. We left it a little bit late. The queue was a little bit long. It was a bit chaotic to try and get checked in. We were told, because we were in the outer queue, the kind of right hand queue, that if we veered off to the car park direction, we could use the walk-in check-in, which I thought ideal. That sounds ideal. Couldn't find a car park space. We had to park a little way away. It turns out the in-person check-in don't have second packs for you. They had to go across to the driving booths and get them anyway, so there was a little bit of wait there. Did notice the car check-in was then running quite smoothly, so I would recommend probably stick with the car check-in. I think we waited a long time because someone was having an issue, but if it is a fairly standard booking and you just pick up your pack, then it goes quite quickly.
That obviously they have to do it because else they're blocking the road. So because the main road was very busy, wasn't it? So
they're trying to keep people moving along. But we did find ourselves waiting a little bit longer because they had to kind of get a few names, go across, get the packs, find them all, and then bring them back. But
one thing that was handy was while we were in the check-in building, Emily could use the toilets because there's toilets
there.
That's
true.
So
we were getting a bit
handy.
Desperate for toilets, so that did work out quite nicely. Just a few other kind of more practical elements then. So we're still in the Comfort Plus apartments, but I imagine this is true for most others as well. Bring extension lead. Particularly around the telly, we have one plug for the kind of telly area. We brought a Roku box because the Wi-Fi is pretty good. We were able to stream lots of bits and bobs for Emily on the Roku box. So it's worth noting that, but yeah, extra plug needed for that. And obviously it's a nice place for charging stuff as well in front of the telly.
And I've heard from other people on sort of Facebook groups that the Wi-Fi can vary, so I wouldn't just have that as your only option because the Wi-Fi might not be great. So some people have had to sort of use a tethered internet.
Yeah, mobile data is quite good. So yeah, it does work quite nicely as well.
Because we stayed other places, like when we were at Parent Sons, and there was no Wi-Fi, and the signal was very limited. I think we were all right in our caravan, but Cornwall Family Life and my sister and their caravan, the other side of the site, they had very limited signal. So yeah, I find signals pretty good here, really.
Yeah, we're quite close to the main complex here, so it does work out quite nicely. One other thing, and just be aware, if you're a Butlins regular, then you'll know this already, but the kitchens don't always get very well stocked and stuff gets nicked. So just be prepared to bring your own stuff. We bring trays and things because actually I don't think we had a tray at all in our stuff. Cutlery can be a bit limited as well, although we had enough. We had the right allocation in our drawer. We can say.
I was going to say, but if obviously you've only got like 3 bowls and you're supposed to have 4, you can contact guest services, because I think we had to do that last year because I think we only had something like 2 bowls.
Yeah, we didn't have an error. I don't know if that comes as standard or not now, but we've been using doors and that works well to dry towels.
And I think next year we might just bring our own because it would just be easier just to buy a little thin error to bring.
Yeah.
Because in the past when we've asked guest services for them, they haven't come, but I think it's just because there's such a limited number of them on site. And with our oven, we only had 1 oven shelf, so it sort of depends if you are planning to cook. A lot of people just sort of buy food on site because there's lots of takeaways that you can buy food from, or some people obviously would have a dining plan, so it does sort of vary. But if you are planning to cook quite a lot here, because I do know they do Christmas breaks, but I don't think I'd really want to be doing a roast dinner in
one tray is not ideal.
One oven shelf.
So bring your own trays if you've plan to cook a lot.
And we find we have pizzas when we're here, so we bring a pizza cutter and pizza trays.
Pizza cutter, pizza trays, sandwich toaster is always helpful as well for a quick lunch. But yeah, things for the microwave, so like a microwave bowl, saucepan or whatever, to do beans, whatever, and if needed. Oven gloves, that kind of stuff, because none of that on
I think if you're going to cook for the whole week, I'd probably bring an air fryer, but we weren't planning to do that much because we got the money back. We sort of thought we'd treat ourselves to a few takeaways, really.
Right, yes, that's just our top tips, really. Things that you may not know if you're not used to Butlins. And I come with Emma, she knows everything, so she just keeps me in line. But
I have come here a lot over the years.
If I'd come to Butlins without someone who knew all the tips and tricks, then you'd work it out along the way. But things like the kind of photo shoots and things you kind of take for granted, or you've booked a show and you think, I've got my booking, that's fine, I can rock up just before. Yeah, don't work like that.
Or some people misunderstand VIP and think, I can just rock up at the last minute and they can let me in. But once they've let the sort of non-VIP queue in, it's a free-for-all, really. So as soon as the VIP's gone in and the booked queue, it's a case of people can just sort of come in.
They have security on the door with clickers to count everyone in and out. So if they do get full, then that's it.
And some people say they don't check your bookings, but we found it depended how busy the show was. Yeah. So when the show was busy, they were checking our VIP bands and they were checking the booking and actually physically checking the time, because I know in the past some people have said, as long as you've got a booking, it doesn't really matter which time you go to. But when it was really busy, they were particular about it. But we went to a show yesterday evening, was at the SBX, and that wasn't as popular, and there wasn't, even for VIP, there was probably about 20 of us queued. So he just sort of said to us, I don't need to see a booking, I just need to see that you've got the VIP band. So it does vary. So I know some people say, it doesn't matter, you don't need to book. But I think if you're here on a busy half term or school holiday break, I think it is very important. But I think you get a very different experience if you're coming here on a term time only break.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're back again in Easter now. So our first Easter break my first Easter break at Butlins. I don't know about Emma.
My first Easter break with Emily.
Yeah, so we'll see what's on offer there. We won't obviously see the Halloween stuff, but we have other plans for this time next year. We'll fill you in when we do that break.
Yeah.
And we better go because we've got to pack up a car now because we've got about 20 minutes before we meant to get out of this room. So
and the cleaners are hovering around outside at all the different accommodations.
They are loitering, so we better crack on.
Yeah, because you can if there's availability, book a late checkout of 12 p.m, but we've gone for the normal checkout, which is 10 p.m.
Yeah.
But obviously, because they've got so many rooms to clean and accommodation to clean, they are trying to clean them as quickly as they can. So I think if they get an idea that someone's left an accommodation, they will try and come in early. So
Right.
Yeah.
I hope that was useful. And do ask any other questions in the comments if you
and
need
we'll
it.
see if we can help.
Yeah. Well, cheers and gone.